The door opened, and a stranger was standing in my mother's house. Not just any stranger. A woman in designer leggings, holding a latte, looking at me like I was the one who didn't belong. Behind her stood a man with crossed arms and cold eyes. And somewhere deeper in the house, I heard my mother's voice, small, tired, asking if someone had come to the door. That's when I knew. 10 years overseas. 10 years of working brutal shifts in Singapore's shipyards. 10 years of saving every cent so my mom could live comfortably in the house I bought her. And I'd come home to this. Let me back up. The taxi had pulled onto my old street about 20 minutes earlier. I had my forehead pressed against the window, heart racing. I'd imagined this moment so many times. Mom would open the door, hands flying to her mouth, tears streaming. "Autumn, my baby," she'd cry. I'd drop my bags and hug her until she complained I was crushing her bones. But when we stopped, my smile died. The white fence I'd paid to repaint was chipped and peeling. Mom's lily garden was dead, just dry dirt and weeds. And parked in the driveway was this massive luxury SUV I'd never seen before. The curtains were different too. Too modern. Too expensive. Too not her. Mom must be fixing things up, I told myself. But I didn't believe it. Mom didn't change things. She still had my science fair ribbon from 8th grade on the fridge. Then I saw the security camera above the porch. Mom was terrified of technology. She once cried because she thought she broke the microwave. There was no way she installed a surveillance system. Something was very wrong. I rang the doorbell. And that's when the stranger answered. "Can I help you?" Her tone was clipped, annoyed. "I'm looking for my mom. Susan Hartley." The woman stiffened. Behind her, the man appeared, and they exchanged this look I couldn't read but absolutely hated. Then I heard it. Mom's voice from inside. Did someone come to the door? But it wasn't the voice I remembered. It was smaller. Tired. Uncertain. "Mom." I called out, stepping forward. The woman, Brianna, I'd soon learn, blocked me with a fake smile. "She's busy right now." Busy? My mother didn't get busy when her daughter came home after 10 years. I pushed past her. The man, Travis, moved to block me too, but he hesitated. Glanced back toward the hallway. That hesitation told me everything. "Mom." I called again, louder. I heard shuffling. Then a soft gasp. "Autumn." My throat closed up. I followed her voice into the living room and nearly stopped breathing. Mom stood at the edge of the hallway, holding a damp dish towel. Her hands were shaking. Her hair hung loose and streaked with gray I'd never seen before. Her clothes were faded, worn like she'd been wearing the same 3 outfits for months. But what broke me wasn't her appearance. It was her expression. She looked at me like she didn't know if she was allowed to. Like she was waiting for someone else's permission to react to her own daughter. "Mom." "Susan, the kitchen isn't finished." Travis's voice cut through the room like a knife. And my mother flinched. My mother. The woman who worked 3 jobs to raise me. The woman who once told off my high school principal. The woman who never backed down from anyone. She flinched. I turned to him slowly. "What did you just say?" He shrugged with this lazy smile. "We all contribute around here. Susan helps out. Keeps her active. She doesn't need to help out. This is her home." Brianna folded her arms. "Actually, it's our home now too." My blood went cold. What is that supposed to mean? Before she could answer, Mom grabbed my wrist. "Autumn, let's not do this here." Her voice was trembling. Her eyes were begging me not to make them angry. My mother was afraid. In her own home. I swallowed the rage burning in my throat. "Okay, Mom. Let's talk. Just us." Travis exchanged another look with Brianna. "Fine. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Who were these people to tell me how long I could talk to my own mother?" But Mom tugged my hand, urging me toward the backyard. The moment the sliding door closed behind us, she broke. "Autumn," she whispered. "I'm so sorry you had to see me like this." I knelt in front of her, taking her cold hands. "Mom, please. Tell me what's going on. Who are those people?" She squeezed her eyes shut. Tears slipped down her cheeks. "I tried to manage everything on my own after you left. But I got so lonely. So tired. And when Travis and Brianna showed up, they seemed kind at first. Showed up. I frowned. You didn't invite them. She shook her head. They said they needed a place temporarily. Just for a week. Their apartment lease ended. They were friends of your cousin. They seemed polite. They helped with groceries. They cooked dinner. She wiped her eyes. For the first month, they made me feel like I wasn't alone. My stomach twisted. And then, her face fell. It changed slowly. They started handling my mail. Said they'd take care of bills because I wasn't strong enough. They insisted on managing repairs. They said I needed to rest more. Her voice dropped. Then later they said I wasn't contributing enough, that I should be grateful. They asked me to help with small chores. Then more. Then everything. What about your phone? Why didn't you call me? Shame flickered across her face. They said the phone confused me. That I wasn't using it correctly. So they kept it in a drawer and told me to ask them if I needed to call anyone. Mom. I wanted to call you, she said desperately. But they always had a reason to take it away. They said your job was too demanding and I shouldn't disturb you. Ice flooded my veins. And the house. They said you transferred it. Her eyes went wide with panic. No. Never. I don't remember signing anything. If I did, they must have put something in front of me when I was tired. They said it was just paperwork for a plumbing issue. Her voice broke. I didn't know. I swear. I wrapped my arms around her. Mom, none of this is your fault. They took advantage of you. They isolated you. She sobbed into my chest. I thought I was losing my mind. I thought maybe I did owe them something. I pulled back and lifted her chin. You're not alone anymore. I'm home. And I'm not letting anyone treat you like this ever again. Through the glass door, I saw Brianna watching. Arms crossed. Expression cold. I knew then that whatever had happened was only the beginning. I didn't wait. The moment Mom started shaking, I grabbed my phone. Autumn, what are you doing? She whispered. Something I should have done the second I stepped in this house. I'm calling Ben. Ben Harlow. My best friend from high school. Now a civil and elder rights attorney in San Francisco. Mom stiffened. No, don't involve lawyers. They'll get upset. I looked her in the eye. That's the point. Ben picked up on the second ring. Autumn. You okay? No. I need you at my mother's house now. I'm on my way. When I hung up, Mom clutched my arm. Autumn, I don't want trouble. Mom, the trouble already exists. I'm just turning the lights on. The sliding door opened behind us. Brianna stepped out. 5 minutes are up. Susan needs to get back to the kitchen. I turned slowly. Her name is Mom. And she doesn't need to do anything for you. Travis appeared behind her, jaw tight. This isn't your place anymore, Autumn. You left. We've been helping her. I actually laughed. Helping? You mean isolating her? Controlling her? He stiffened. Careful with your accusations. I've barely started. Brianna huffed. Look, if Susan wants us here. Does she? I cut in. Does she actually want you here, or did you just convince her she had no choice? Their eyes flickered. Just enough for me to see the truth. Travis's voice sharpened. You can't take her anywhere. I smiled coldly. Not for long. Just then, a silver Honda pulled up. Ben stepped out wearing a navy suit, briefcase in hand. He looked like the kind of man who didn't lose cases. Brianna muttered, "Who is that?" Ben approached calmly. "Good afternoon. I'm attorney Ben Harlow. I'm here to speak with my clients." Travis sputtered. You're what?" Ben gave him a sharp smile. "Autumn and Mrs. Hartley have retained my services. Effective immediately." Brianna's expression cracked. "You can't just." "Legally, I absolutely can." He turned to Mom. "Mrs. Hartley, with your permission, I'd like to review any documents they had you sign." Her voice trembled. I don't remember what I signed. That's all I needed to hear." "Autumn, let's get your mother out of here now." Travis stepped forward. "You can't take her." Ben raised a hand. Attempting to prevent her from leaving is considered intimidation of a protected adult. "I strongly suggest you step aside." Travis froze. Brianna went pale. And just like that, the power shifted. Mom slipped her hand into mine. Autumn, will we be safe? I squeezed her hand. Mom, you're safe now. I promise. We walked out, leaving Travis and Brianna on the porch. Their manufactured confidence crumbling. For the first time since I'd arrived, I felt control return. This wasn't over. It was just beginning. Ben drove us straight to his office. Mom sat in the back seat, silent, clutching her purse. She looked so small. When we arrived, he gently guided her inside. Mrs. Hartley, please take a seat. We're going to go through this step by step. Mom nodded nervously. Ben, I don't want anyone hurt. Ben offered a soft smile. We're not hurting anyone. We're uncovering the truth. He pulled a legal pad toward him. Did you ever give Travis or Brianna permission to handle your mail, bills, or bank accounts? No, Mom whispered. They said I wasn't managing things well. Did they ever explain what you were signing? She shook her head. They always said it was small things. A repair invoice. A package delivery. She hesitated. Sometimes they put papers in front of me when I was tired. They said I needed to sign right away. And you don't recall signing anything about transferring the house? No. Never. I would never give away Autumn's house. Ben turned to me. Autumn, do you have the original property records? In my email. The title should still be in Mom's name. Send it to me. I forwarded it immediately. Ben tapped his keyboard. Within seconds, his eyebrows shot up. There it is. The transfer. Recorded 2 months ago. Mom gasped. 2 months. I leaned closer. Ben, that signature looks nothing like hers. He nodded. And the notarization stamp is from a notary who's been flagged before. He looked at Mom kindly. I'm almost certain this was forged. Mom's eyes filled with tears. Am I in trouble? He shook his head firmly. No. They are. Ben stood. We need to build a complete timeline. Autumn, document everything. What you saw. What your mother said. Anything can help. I can do that. And we'll need evidence from neighbors. Just then, Ben's assistant knocked and entered. Ben, I think you need to see this. She handed him an envelope. The return address made my skin crawl. Mom's bank. Ben opened it, eyes scanning rapidly. Then he froze. Autumn. Your mother's savings account has been drained. Mom's breath caught. What? No, that can't be. I barely spend anything. Which is why these transactions stand out. Large purchases. Frequent withdrawals. Charges from luxury stores. All in the last year. Heat spread across my face. Travis and Brianna. They stole her money. Ben nodded. And there's more. Look. He slid the statements toward me. One line repeated over and over. Authorization, T. Bennett. Travis Bennett. Mom covered her face. Oh God. How could I let this happen? I knelt beside her. Mom, stop. This isn't your fault. They isolated you. This is on them. Ben set the papers aside. We have more than enough to open a full investigation. Financial exploitation. Fraudulent transfer. Elder abuse. This is severe. Mom whispered, will they go to jail? Ben paused. If the evidence continues like this, it's very possible. For the first time since I'd returned, I saw something flicker in Mom's expression. Hope. Autumn, she whispered, gripping my hand. Thank you for coming back. I squeezed her hand tightly. I'm not going anywhere. And we're getting everything back. Ben gathered the files. Get some rest tonight. Tomorrow we start building the case. For the first time, I felt ready for war. By noon the next day, we were sitting in a government building facing a mediator, a social worker, and a legal officer. Mom was called first. She answered every question with trembling honesty. How she was pressured to sign papers. How her phone was taken. How she felt small and unwelcome in her own home. Then came the question that made my stomach twist. Mrs. Hartley, did you ever intend to give your home to Travis and Brianna? Mom shook her head quickly, tears filling her eyes. No. Never. That house was my daughter's gift to me. I only signed what they put in front of me because they said I had to. The mediator nodded. Thank you. Your statement is clear. The door opened. Travis and Brianna were escorted in. Brianna looked furious. Travis looked like he'd rehearsed excuses all night. The moment Brianna spotted me, her lips curled. "So you're the one stirring all this up?" I didn't respond. The mediator gestured for them to sit. "This hearing concerns allegations of elder exploitation, coercion, financial manipulation, and fraudulent transfer of property." Brianna scoffed. "Please." Susan practically begged us to stay. Mom flinched. Ben placed a protective hand on her shoulder. Travis cleared his throat. "We didn't force her to do anything." The mediator cut him off. "We have statements from neighbors describing Mrs. Hartley doing all household chores, appearing distressed, and being reprimanded frequently." Brianna's confidence wavered. "That doesn't prove anything." Ben leaned forward. "But this does." He slid the forged title transfer across the table. "Here's the so-called transfer. Not only does Mrs. Hartley deny signing it, but a handwriting analyst flagged inconsistencies. And your chosen notary is currently under state investigation." Travis's face drained of color. That's not our fault." "And the bank withdrawals," Ben continued. "The thousands drained from Mrs. Hartley's savings. All authorized by you, Travis." Travis opened his mouth. Nothing came out. The legal officer turned to Brianna. "And the purchases at luxury stores, jewelry, furniture, those were made using Mrs. Hartley's funds." Brianna snapped. She didn't need the money. She wasn't using it. My jaw tightened. The mediator closed the file. "We've heard enough. Based on Mrs. Hartley's testimony and the evidence, we've determined substantial proof of elder exploitation and fraudulent property transfer." Brianna shot up. "You can't take the house." The mediator didn't blink. "The house was never legally yours. Effective immediately, the transfer is void. Travis and Brianna Bennett are prohibited from entering the property. A criminal investigation will proceed." Mom gasped softly. I exhaled. Brianna turned on Travis. "This is your fault." Travis muttered, "Mine. You said we could get away with it." Security approached. "Please exit." Mom leaned against me, trembling with relief. "Autumn, is it over?" I held her close. "This isn't the end. It's the beginning of the end. And we're not backing down." The court date arrived weeks later. Ben and his team had built the case piece by piece. Interview transcripts, financial audits, handwriting analysis, neighbor statements, a psychological evaluation of Mom confirming her distress. When the day came, Mom clung to my arm as we walked into the courthouse. Her steps were slow but steady. She wasn't the same fragile woman I'd found that first day. She was stronger now. Inside, Travis and Brianna sat at the defendant's table looking vastly different. Travis wore a wrinkled suit. Brianna looked pale, hiding behind sunglasses. Her hands never stopped fidgeting. Across the room, Brianna shot me a glare. For once, it didn't shake me. The judge entered. "Court is now in session." The prosecutor stood. "Your Honor, this case involves exploitation of a vulnerable adult, fraudulent transfer of property, unauthorized financial withdrawals, and coercive control." Brianna rolled her eyes. Travis swallowed hard. The defendant systematically manipulated Mrs. Susan Hartley, isolated her from her daughter, and pressured her into signing documents she didn't understand. Then Mom was called to the stand. Her voice trembled at first. But as she spoke, something shifted. She described the loneliness, the manipulation, the pressure, the way they made her feel like a burden, the way her home slowly stopped feeling like hers. She never raised her voice. Her calm honesty was more powerful than anything. "Mrs. Hartley, why didn't you reach out to your daughter?" Mom swallowed. "They always found a way to take my phone. I thought I would cause trouble. They told me Autumn was too busy to care." I closed my eyes, fighting tears. Then came Travis and Brianna's turn. Travis's lawyer tried to paint them as overwhelmed caretakers, but every excuse fell apart. Brianna claimed Mom liked helping out, until Ben produced a video from a neighbor showing her speaking sharply to Mom while she cleaned the porch. Brianna froze. Travis insisted Mom voluntarily transferred the house, until the handwriting expert declared the signature highly inconsistent with her natural writing. The final blow came when the bank investigator testified that all withdrawals traced to Travis's personal purchases, not household expenses. Travis's face turned ashen. The judge took a long moment to review the notes. Then she spoke, clearly, firmly. The defendants exploited a vulnerable adult for personal gain. The property transfer is void. The defendants are ordered to repay all misappropriated funds and are restricted from contacting Mrs. Hartley. Additionally, mandatory counseling and probation will be assigned. Further criminal penalties will be determined in a separate hearing. Mom let out a shaky exhale. I squeezed her hand. It was over. As Travis and Brianna were escorted out, Brianna hissed, "You'll regret this, Autumn." I met her glare calmly. "No. I'm done regretting. And my mother is done suffering." Outside, sunlight warmed Mom's face. She closed her eyes. "Autumn, we got our home back." I wrapped my arms around her. "Yes, Mom. And we're never losing it again." For the first time in years, the house felt like ours. When we stepped through the front door after the ruling, the air felt different. Lighter. There were still signs of what happened. Furniture that wasn't hers. Curtains she never chose. But the moment she walked into the living room, something warm flickered in her eyes. "Autumn, it feels like I can breathe again." I smiled. "We'll make it feel like home, Mom. I promise." Over the next few weeks, I took time off work. We cleaned the house together, room by room. I let Mom choose everything. New curtains. New dishes. Even the color of the front door. She chose yellow. "It's the color of sunlight," she said with a smile. "The house needs sunlight again." I watched her slowly regain herself. She laughed more. She slept peacefully. She started humming while watering little potted plants. Every day felt like we were reclaiming something they'd tried to take. One morning, as we sat on the porch sipping tea, Mom spoke softly. "Autumn, I'm sorry if I ever made you feel guilty for leaving. You left to build a life. You didn't abandon me." I set my cup down. "Mom, the only thing that matters is that I'm here. And I'm staying." She covered my hand with hers. "That's all I need." A week later, I accepted a remote engineering position. It wasn't glamorous. It paid less. But when I told Mom, she hugged me tightly. "I have my daughter back," she whispered. "That's priceless." Some evenings, we walked the neighborhood. Neighbors waved with genuine warmth. Mrs. Ellison brought cookies. Mr. Delgado fixed our porch light for free, as long as Susan promises to keep smiling. And she did. The woman who once shuffled through this home like a shadow now moved with purpose. She cooked her favorite meals. She organized recipes. She talked about repainting her bedroom lavender in the spring. One night, as I tucked her in, she said something I'll never forget. "Autumn, thank you for saving me." I shook my head, brushing hair from her forehead. "No, Mom. You saved yourself. You just needed someone to stand beside you." She smiled. "That someone was you." When I walked to my room, the house felt warm. Alive. For the first time since returning, I felt stillness. This wasn't the end of our story. It was the beginning of a new one. One I would never take for granted again. Because justice didn't just return the house to us. It returned her to me. And it returned me to the place I should have been all along, home. Thanks for listening, and if this story resonates with you, don't forget to comment and subscribe for more stories about family, second chances, and standing up for the people we love. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is come home.